Welcome everybody, and today we are going to be talking about what's going on with transport here in UK, moreover London and the southeast. It could be expanding to other cities. So we're going to be talking about 20-mile-an-hour zones, ULEZ and low traffic neighbourhoods, maybe some 15-minute city stuff, who knows. So what I like to do is I like to interview guests who have got a good basic understanding of what's actually going on. So what better than speak to a taxi driver who frequently goes into London? Can you imagine the stuff that they see and the friends that they talk to and all of that sort of stuff to give us a heads up of what's really going on? Because let's face it, we don't really trust the mainstream, do we? So without further ado, we're going to bring our guest along, and his name is Andy, the Gabby Cabby. Hey, dude, how's it going? You right?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. How are you? Hope you're good. And hi,
yeah,
everyone.
we're getting there, mate. We're fighting a good fight, and people call people like us digital soldiers, so that's cool, isn't it?
I like that. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. So what I thought I'd do, like I just said on the intro there, is you know, we are actually seeing in real time all of these changes. So 20-mile-an-hour thing, and that's recently come in, and I live here in Wales, and I can tell you firsthand that it's an absolute joke. I mean, you can drive along through a little village, and you in Wales, because I don't know what it is, but I think there are a lot of speed freaks. So rather than all of a sudden see a sign saying 30 miles an hour, you get like 3 warnings before you get there: 300 yards, 200 yards, 100 yards, then it's 30 miles an hour. And it's all printed on the roads. All of these signs are still 30. You get into that 30-mile-an-hour zone, and literally 20 yards after that is a sign saying 20, and it's still saying 30 on the road. And when you come around from the opposite direction, the same level where that 20-mile-an-hour sign was on the other side of the road, coming the other direction, it says 30. What a complete nightmare. Have you seen anything like this as well?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the road layouts are slightly different around here with all the signage and the warnings as are in Wales. Granted, I haven't driven in Wales a great deal in my lifetime, but it's just a confusion and also a distraction as well when you're looking out for signs and changes and worried about getting fined. Next thing you know, you've just gone into the back of something. It's nuts.
And do you know what? I actually had that only a few days ago. Like I said, that sort of layout which I just talked about, was driving along, and all of a sudden these 2 cars in front of me, they were doing like 17 miles an hour. So there's obviously erring on the side of caution. There was no cameras around or nothing like that. So what was happening is the guy in front of me was really close to the guy in front of him. And you can see every now and again his brake lights coming on. And I had to sort of come back. And then as I was doing that in my rear view mirror, I saw this van hurtling towards me, and he sort of slowed right down. So already I'm thinking it's quite dangerous. What do you reckon of all that tailgating stuff? Do you think it's going to be happening on a wide scale with that sort of thing?
Absolutely. I mean, you get a couple of classes of driver. You get those that are going to obey the speed limit or drive even slower than the speed limit because they feel like they're being good and, you know, doing as they're told. And then you get other people, oh, for goodness sake, you know, what is all this? And they'll drive at 30 miles an hour anyway. They'll come across somebody, oh, they're driving slow, got to slow down. You get the white van man up the tailpipe, and then you get somebody else behind him. You'll just get rows of traffic getting annoyed with each other. And, you know, I had it yesterday. I mean, where I live, 20-mile-an-hour zones are in certain places. One of the bigger ones is on Margate Seafront, just down the road from me. And there's loads of pedestrian crossings as well. You put the two of those together, oh, my God, I'd rather go around the block and avoid it. But it's just spreading.
Yeah, I think all it's doing is it's making people more angry, more aggressive. And with these things popping up in Wales now, it's only a matter of time before you actually start seeing an increase in road rage. You can literally see it like a car crash in slow motion, as often, you know, it gets referred to.
Well, if you look at the situation in Wales right now, and I've done some content on this on my channel over the last few days, something like 400,000 people have signed a petition against the 20-mile-an-hour zones. In fact, I think it's more than that. If you watch the petition in real time, the numbers clock up really quickly.
I've been watching it this morning. It's at 440,000 now, and it's just going up all the time.
And if you Google, say, the population of Wales right now, 3.2 million. So 400 odd thousand is quite a high percentage of that 3.2 million. Yeah, you know, that's how many people don't want it. And what worries me about the whole thing is if they get away with it in Wales, and Cornwall is another place that it's happening. We don't hear about that. It's going to spread everywhere else.
I think it is. It's almost like a pilot or a test scenario, isn't it? They get data. Yeah. It's pretty much what I've been saying for a while now. What happened in 2020, in my own opinion, that was just like a great big test, a big training scenario. So they gathered all of the data from it, and now they can know public opinion and response times from the public, what they do, what they feel about it, how it affects things. And I believe that this 20-mile-an-hour nonsense is the same thing. And I'm glad in a way that that petition has literally taken off, because apparently that is an absolute record for Wales. There's never been a petition launched about anything to do with the Welsh government that has gone that fast, that quick. So it does look like it's a good sign. I have been hearing feedback from other people in Wales saying, whatever the petition number is, they're still going to go ahead and do it. If that's going to be the actual case, I do believe that you're going to start seeing a similar thing, which is what you've probably been seeing about this ULEZ thing. Now, what do you think about ULEZ? Is it a good thing? Is it going to save the planet? Or is it just going to be another tax on the motorists, mate? What do you think?
To be blunt and to the point, I think it's another tax on the motorists. I mean, they sell the whole idea of, you know, if you pay £12.50, then it's going to cure all the pollution. But what I believe in is facts, hard, cold facts. What I see, what I hear. Now, if you go on the internet and you type in real-time air quality monitoring worldwide, you can look at any place in the world and it will tell you what the air quality is like. You can zoom in to London, nothing wrong with the air quality. It's absolutely fine. And then if you go and compare it to something like India, China, you see the stark difference. Yeah. I believe that the overall goal is they want people on buses, on cycles. They're even advertising these blooming cargo bikes. You know, can you imagine white van men on cargo bikes? Yeah. Years ago, I worked in IT and we didn't have access to the company van. So me and another fella had to go up to London to work, and we had to take all our tools and everything on the train and the London Black Cab. No, it doesn't work. It's literally, I mean, Sadiq Khan, in my view, has bankrupted TfL. I think he's running it into the ground. And this, plus the ULEZ fines as well, it'll be a great way just to fill up the coffers again. That's what it's all about. It needs scrapping. It doesn't work. It's a joke.
Yeah, well said, mate. And do you know what? I couldn't agree more. Because, you know, some of us, I think yourself, are switched on with this, that Sadiq Khan is pretty much head publicly of the C40 City program.
Absolutely.
Which, as some of us know, you know, it runs around the world. So this guy, I mean, I must admit, I didn't really know anything about him until a few years or so ago. And the first time I looked at him and how he acted, do you know what my first immediate impression of him was? A dodgy second-hand car salesman. That's how he come across to me. So I don't know if anyone else had the same thoughts and feelings, but you know, when you think of his role within the C40 program and the ULEZ thing, how the hell he become mayor of London, wonders will never cease, mate. I mean, I can't understand how a logically thinking, switched on adult would vote for a person like that. But nonetheless, you know, we can debate for years probably about how he got in. I should imagine the doors were open for him, and it didn't matter what the people voted. He was always going to be there anyway.
And he got re-elected.
He did. I mean, that's
Second
another
term,
thing, really, isn't it? It's crazy. Yeah. And, you know, I've been looking at some footage on Twitter and on YouTube, on some on Instagram too. The amount of people who are literally physically doing something about it. They're cutting the cameras down, they're setting fire to them, they're spray painting all over them. And this is pretty much, I think someone called it a ULEZ war. And I think it's healthy to see actual real pushback that's happening, not just people writing to their MPs and hoping, or freedom of information requests, which sometimes get pushed to the wayside. We are seeing in real time this literally unfolding. I mean, have you seen any footage of all of these cameras being destroyed as well?
I've seen loads of it. I mean, I saw a wonderful one the other day. You've got the mobile camera vans as well. I've seen them when I went up to Heathrow, sitting on the Northern Perimeter Road. And there was a video of a guy the other day pulled up behind a ULEZ camera van, faked breaking down, and told the camera operator, "Oh, I've broken down. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry." And what he did, he went round and opened his boot and lifted the tailgate right up so it covered the view of the ULEZ camera. The guy was going, "Oh, you can't put that there. You can't. I've broken down, mate. What am I supposed to do? Oh, you move your car. I can't." It was funny. It really was funny. And what was it? And there was another one I saw. A guy had parked his car next to a camera, went and sat on the ceiling, on the roof of his car, and just sat there with a big smile on his face. Amazing.
It is. It's pretty laughable, mate. And you know, seeing some of this stuff. I mean, I saw a video. I think it was quite a while ago. It's circulating on Twitter, and it was like a haul of ULEZ cameras in this guy's garage. And you think, blimey, you know, it looks like a one-man outfit just doing that alone. And he was even saying how to dismantle them, how to, you know, what size sockets and star heads and all of this sort of stuff. And obviously, this information just went out crazy. You hear stories of people putting like expandable foam and all of that sort of thing into things so it overheats and it melts down. It's just crazy. I'm thinking, you know, obviously, if you live in and around London, obviously you're paying council tax. Well, some people maybe. Lots of people have stopped paying council tax now, and it does look like it is a successful thing of getting around the system. You know, don't fund, you know, what you don't want, sort of thing. And it's just incredible what's been going on with these cameras. I mean, I'd love to know, because I don't know how much these cameras cost, how much the council are paying per camera, but not just the camera. Actually paying a company contracted to install them. And when you add all that up, it's probably a significant amount of money. And what you're seeing now is all of them being destroyed. It's like one goes up and one gets taken down again. And it does look like that the London government or Transport for London are literally losing this war, because it is a war, mate, isn't it? And
you know, there was a what looked like a false flag operation, we'll call it. The other day, I got sent a news article, and there was a ULEZ camera on top of a set of traffic lights at a pedestrian crossing, and there was a picture of the traffic lights. The actual pole had been sawn through and down, and they were trying to sow division. You can't do this to a pedestrian crossing. You're putting kids at risk. You're putting old people at risk. Yeah, that kind of thing. And I put it to everybody on my channel. I said, "What do you say to this? Is it anything goes, or do they need to be more careful?" And I said, "Anything goes. If it's a ULEZ camera, get rid of it. Get rid of it."
Do you know what? You saying that's what I like to do on my live streams. If I remember, and it's all about trying to remember all this stuff, is put a little poll up there when the live stream starts. You know, do you think ULEZ is a good thing or a bad thing? And I think when I looked at the poll, there was like well over 1,000 people took part. It was like 98% of people were opposed to it. And you add that alongside with what's been going on in Wales with Petition and 20-mile-an-hour zones, it's getting quite obvious now that the general public are literally waking up to all this BS. And it's interesting. And then we've heard recently in the media that the 2030 agenda with motorist stuff and EVs and all of that has been put back for 5 years, what our PM just recently said. So it's really difficult to gauge that if all of these pushbacks are making an effect, delaying their goal target by 2035 now, or is it they've already had like a wiggle room sort of 5-year thing anyway, just in case things happened? It's really hard to sort of understand that, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe it's wriggle room. I believe it's all going to schedule, but also what you've got to look at, we've got a general election coming next year, haven't we? And when you get stuff like things going on with the roads that motorists are annoyed at, the situation in Dover, for example, these are all very powerful, very key buzzwords that they think, oh, we could win an election if we say we're going to sort that out or delay that. Let's say that this year, and then when we're back in power next year, we'll conveniently forget it all and carry on as we were. Anything over the next 6 to 8 months, I wouldn't take much heed in it, really, if it comes
You
out
know
of a
what?
positive
Yeah. And
mouth.
I remember doing a video on that, and I said the same sort of thing. It's a vote grab, I think they call it. But
Oh,
when you
yeah.
look at what we talked about earlier, so we got 20-mile-an-hour zones being enforced. We weren't even consulted. I think there was a poll of 1,000 people, and they
That's
asked
right.
like young parents or something who don't even drive. So that is just ridiculous. Now we've got this ULEZ stuff, which is trying to impose fines to make sure that people who live in and around London have clean air. But like you said earlier, it's already clean enough. It doesn't need amending. And then when you drag it over further, looking into the future, we're talking about 15-minute cities, which obviously is going ahead behind the scenes very slowly. Before you get to 15-minute cities, you've got the LTNs, the low traffic neighborhoods. Now, have you seen any changes from your own experience driving around? Were some put up? Have they been taken down again? Are they still up? Are they coming out more recently now? What do we know?
I've seen them in London, particularly what you would term rat runs,
Yeah,
whereby a taxi driver or somebody would take a shortcut down a residential street. You see them there, but that seems to have gone very quiet in the news recently. LTNs, I haven't seen a great deal of information about it. The last thing I saw was that they're starting to identify that LTNs are actually a very unpopular idea. They don't want them. So the government turned around and said, well, we're no longer going to fund councils to put LTNs in. If they want the LTNs, they've got to fund it themselves. I think Tower Hamlets is one that was removing their LTNs or having a big reshape. And I think they've really seen that the whole idea just isn't workable in its current form. And you get stuff like emergency services vehicles can't get down there. Loads
yeah.
of problems. I mean, you've seen the pictures yourself of the planters being ripped out, the poles demolished and vandalised. It's same with the ULEZ cameras, not wanted.
Yeah. It is, and like I said, I've covered this on live streams and videos before. And from my own experience, because I live in the middle of Wales, it's one of the nearest big cities is Shrewsbury or
Right.
Shrewsbury, depending on how posh people are. But when I went into there, I actually witnessed it firsthand, and it's just shocking because that little city, I guess, has always had the same routes, the same traffic, etc. Now it's not been that long since they're mobile planters, aren't they? And it's got like dead end or something like that written on it. And they've literally just get pushed there, and they look like they've got coaster wheels on with little push down sort of brakes on them. So, or what would happen after a certain time? I'm not sure. It may be 6 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the afternoon or the evening, and a council worker will come along, look at his watch, unclip the brakes, and move them, and then traffic can move through.
Right.
And when I was there and I saw this, I looked around, and yes, there might be a few CCTV cameras like you see in city centres, but I just think to myself, there's so much crime going on, and people just wear hoodies and they do what they're going to do anyway. They don't care about the cameras. And I was quite shocked to see that all of these people around, no one really thought about, do you know what? I disagree with that. I think it's nonsense. What would happen if I just moved it myself right now? But of course, it never happened. And you've got to think to yourself, at what point are the people who are doing stuff to the ULEZ cameras defacing the 20-mile-an-hour speed limit zones? At what point are people going to start to physically move these planters out of the way? I have seen some videos in it a long time ago, maybe about 8 months ago now. I just wanted to know what the current situation is, because it seems to have gone a bit quiet on that front, hasn't it?
Oh, it certainly has. It certainly has. And I mean, if you link it back to the C40 cities, the government is saying, oh, we're not going to fund these LTNs anymore. Yeah, if you check the funding partners for C40 cities, the British government is one of them, and the C40 cities encourage things like LTNs and lower speed limits and all this sort of thing. So it's a crock. It really is a crock. But I think it's gone quiet for a reason. I'm never entirely satisfied that they're getting rid of them. I think something else is going to happen. Like I mentioned Tower Hamlets earlier. Oh, we're going to get rid of our LTNs, but we're going to put something else in its place. What is it going to be worse? There's something doesn't smell right about the whole thing. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Okay then, guys. Well, that's it for the end of this video. If you want to see more of this full interview, please click on the link below on the website, and it'll all be available there. Because as you can appreciate, there's only certain things that we can and can't talk about on YouTube. So to make it safer, it's on the website, and we are going to really deep dive into it. No holds barred, no holding back. We are going to speak as free men, and that's going to be how it is. So I'd like to say thank you, Andy, for taking part in this interview, and
You're welcome.
we'll catch you guys soon.